Hi, this is Ken, KA6SUB, the Fusion Elmer guy. After about 2 years, technology has changed, new products have been released, and I felt it was time to update this video that I did 2 years ago. So sit back and enjoy, and maybe pick up some new information. And before we go any further, I'd like to remind you not to forget to subscribe. And I would also like to thank all of my subscribers for their continued support. And let's not keep Yaesu Fusion a secret. Spread the word. Share this with your fellow hams and clubs. This is where some new technology has come in. So there's been a lot better sound quality in the DMR products and some other products too because of the MB2. Yes, and out of the box and on the air in 5 minutes in digital. Yes, it can be done with the C4 FM. And I have a video with that same name. You can look that up if you haven't already seen it. No, I don't think FM's ever going to go away. We still have a lot of other older technology other than maybe Spark Gap that we're using. So, no, it's here to stay, I'm pretty sure. The information that's transmitted across with your error correction, that doesn't happen on voice wide. So my recommendation is don't ever use voice wide unless you and I are on HTs talking to one another a couple miles apart, where we don't need to have error correction. But there's a lot of information that doesn't go across as well as the error correction when you're in voice wide. So stay in Delta November, digital narrow. And yes, you can send messages and pictures if you're not aware of that already. So that is a possibility. They have a microphone that's got a camera built into it, and you can point and take a picture and send that picture over the air. Yes, AMS, automatic mode select, makes fusion. And again, remember, wires X is not part, it's not a part of the repeater. It is an optional feature that the repeater owner would have to buy into, if you will, get the components and set it up and go through the administration portion of it and get it going. Most important, no third-party devices, hotspots. I don't care if it's not made by Yaesu, it doesn't work. You cannot use anything other than the Yaesu products on wires X. Please keep that in mind. You may think you're hearing or you're on wires X, you're only hearing audio that's bridged across from one room to another, but you have no ability to actually log on to wires X with a third-party device. And I mean, end of conversation. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Yes, I know this is going to irritate a few people when I say reliable and repeatable, more so than HF bands. But HF bands, you're always dealing with propagation, time of day, season. You know the routine. The internet seems to be working most of the time, more frequently than HF does. And just because you can get through on 20 meters doesn't mean you can get through to somebody on 80 meters or 10 meters. So I think reliability and repeatability is better with the internet. So therefore, there's a lot of features out there. I mean, we have already for years, we've had Echolink, All-Star, IRLP, these VoIP systems. Wires X is just another one like that. I make it sound like it's nothing special. It is. It's got other features built into it. Pretty neat tool. The other thing that you do need to remember is because the HRI 200, when you're using that as a node, you've got 7 or 8 ports that need to be forwarded. And so this means you need to be able to work with a provider that's going to help you get that accomplished and keep it going. It's a much harder device to set up and keep going. You're also dealing with, unfortunately, with a Windows computer. So the Windows computer is more of a problem than the internet is. I'm going to tell you that right now. My suggestion to most people, don't go out and buy an HRI 200. Leave that to the repeater guys, because it's got features on there that you will never use. You're paying a lot of money for something that you're not going to use, and you've got a lot of headaches and setup issues. And we'll get into the next slide here, but let's go there now. And PDN basically gives you a node, not a room. You don't have any room support. You don't have any support for all the other features that the HRI 200 has. But guess what? You don't need them. I'm going to make a wild guess and say 80% plus people that have HRI 200s, unless they're connected to a repeater, they aren't using them. I'll even tell you one more. if you've got it connected to the repeater, chances are, again, you're not using them. You're not using the room. You may think you are or whatever, but you're not really using it the way it should be used. Most people just don't. They don't have that need. So when you're looking on the index, you find all sorts of people that they have no users on their system. So to me, if it was me, it's a waste of money. But it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. Just a lot easier to work with a PDN. IMRS. Yeah, IMRS, Internet Linked Multi-Site Repeater System. Now this is a optional card that the repeater owner would have to purchase and install in his repeater. He would have to have internet at the repeater site. He'd have to have a static IP address. You'd have to be able to do port forwarding. But when it's all done and everything, you can sit down and then create a private network of selected repeaters in your network. And then you can navigate. You can either tie them all together on a permanent basis. You can leave them all as standalones and just connect to whichever one you want to connect to, or you can create groups. The Yaesu book, they use the example of California, northern, central, and southern California. So they have groups of repeaters in each area, and then they have a master group of all of them. So you can tie them all together. You can tie just the Southern California together and talk to that group, Northern California, Central California, or you can create multiple groups. Very flexible, very awesome, piece of equipment, and it's not hard to use. I mean, it's all done by using the DGID codes. So you can set up a DGID code of 43 for Southern California, if you will, and connect multiple repeaters together in that group. And when the group's not in use, well, then the repeaters will drop back to all standalone. Or somebody can go from Northern California, one repeater, to another repeater in Southern California or Central California or whatever. But these are predetermined repeaters in this network. You just can't arbitrarily decide, I want to talk to somebody in New York. They have to be part of the system. So it's not like Wires X or Echolink or any of these others where you, if you have a node, you're part of the system. So no, this is all different, but it's pretty cool. And again, internet at the repeater site, you can't RF it in, port forwarding, and you must have static IP address. No exceptions. If you don't do it this way, most of the time it won't work. And if it does, it's pretty crappy. So just keep that in mind. You spend a lot of time, a lot of money getting top of the line equipment for top of the line quality, and you don't want to blow it all out of the water just because you're trying to jury rig something and make something work that will only work half the time. So been there, done that. Don't do it. And so what do you need to get on the air? I happen to notice here that I don't have the FT1 or the FT2 in this picture, but the FT1 was the first HT that they came out with. I don't think you're going to see too many of them around. They're a good little rig. The FT2, I've got an FT2. I use it As a backup, I use my FT3 on a regular basis. The FT5 is a nice radio. I don't have one. And I do have the FT70. So if you're thinking about wanting to get into C4FM, but you're really not sure, you know, you can do the FT70 for under 200 bucks. You can get on. It doesn't have all the whistles and the bells, but it does have superb audio quality. It does run circles around the FT1 and the FT2, and I think the FT3. So yeah, it's a good little radio. I have a couple of the FTM 400s. I don't have shown here the FTM 100. It's been discontinued because they don't have parts for it, and it was replaced by the FT 200. But if you have or can get your hands on the FT 100, it's a nice little radio. Particularly, I use it for doing linking and stuff. It's a nice little radio to have. So I've got a couple of those, but I don't have an FT 200 because I don't have a need for it because I've got the 100s. I do have the 300. It's a nice radio. I've had my hands on the 500, and that's an awesome radio. That's one of these days, maybe I'll next radio I get, it might be one of those. And the FT991 Alpha. Now, if you want to have a ham shack in the box, that's the radio to have. It does everything. It's got C4 FM on it, so you can do C4 FM on 10 meters and 6 meters. Hopefully, I know the FCC's going over stuff, and there's a possibility that they may be allowing some changes in our format, and so we might be able to go in other bands. Who knows? But the radio would be capable of doing it. So the radios that are available currently as of January 2024 would be the FTM 400, the FTM 500, the FT5, the FT70, the FTM 300, the FTM 200, and the FT991 Alpha. Those are the ones that are currently you can walk into the candy store and get. And as we alluded to, the entry-level radios, the FT70 is the HT, and you know, I think commonly you can get it for around 100 and a quarter. I mean, yeah, not 100 and a quarter. Excuse me, 175, 165, somewhere in there. Get the right day with the right deals. And then the mobile rig is the entry level now, rather than being the 100, now is the 200. So the 200 is available, and that's just under $400 for that. That's it's about $85 more than the 100 was, but again, the 100 came out 4 years ago. We went without for about 1.5 to 2 years because they ran out of parts and couldn't get parts because of the shortage of the chips and stuff. So all manufacturers had that issue when that happened. So yeah, anyway, good radio. Let's move on. Repeaters. So if you're going to be setting up the repeater, the DR2X is a currently available repeater, and this is an awesome repeater. I mean, it's got all sorts of capabilities. I'm not even going to go into everything it can do, but if you do have the internet at the repeater site, the HRI 200, which is pictured just down below there, That box will plug directly into the back of the repeater, and you can have a direct connect. You still have to have a computer hooked to the HRI 200, and that computer does have to have internet capability. So you do have to have that and be able to do port forwarding on 7 or 8 different ports to make this all work. But again, if you're up at a repeater site and somewhere and you're using a Windows computer, I would do a second thought. I would RF it from your house or from another location to the repeater, someplace that if something goes wrong, you can reach out and knock that computer around and get it back up and going. So, yeah, I wouldn't do that. We're using IMRS. That's a board that plugs into the repeater itself. You have to take the repeater part and put it in there. Again, it requires the port forwarding, and it does require a static IP address and, obviously internet at the repeater site. But if you have all that capability, there's no computer required. So yeah, you can have that at a remote site and use it. No problems with that. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and watching the videos. Please don't forget to subscribe and pass the word around. Don't keep it a secret about Fusion. It's the more the merrier. And it's good product, good good results. I've been working with it for since 2015, since they released the DR1s out of beta test. So anyway, thank you very much, and again, appreciate all the support from my subscribers, and love to have you, if you're not already, I'd love to have you as one of my subscribers. 7-3, talk to you later.